All right, welcome back, guys. This is the win. Oops, let me turn all the sounds on instead of off. Messed up everything here. This is the winners bracket for the Who is the Best European Tournament. This is Group A still going on, but these guys both have another life. The loser of this will fight the Muslim. The winner of this is out of the group, first place. So the big question, of course, is who is it going to be? I'm Rifkin, casting this morning with Zombie Grub. And of course, we haven't given them shoutouts yet, but let's give a big shout out to Combination CM Storm, Cooler Master, as well as Chairs for Gaming for helping support us, this tournament, and the things we do. So, guys, spotting at the bottom left corner of the map from Millennium, it is going to be the yellow Terran player, Dayshi.
In the upper right is the blue Protoss. It's XMG's Lilbow.
So I mentioned before the game, I'll bring it up again, these guys did recently serve together under France, representing on Nation Wars. They did get to, of course, play together and play against a lot of really talented players. And if you guys missed any of the Nation Wars videos, highly recommend looking up those VODs, as almost every game played was worth it. But, you know, during the Grand Finals, they flew everybody out, so these guys certainly got to actually hang out in person. Not that I think it would be too difficult for them to, you know, both from France and all, but yeah, like I was saying though, Dayshi's TVP, last time I saw him during the Eastern Team Star Cup, phenomenal. Like, just the best of the best. We had originally set up a show match with him versus Harstem a little while too, because Harstem's PVT is actually pretty amazing as well. At least you really want to duke it out, but due to a series of unfortunate events, vacations, and WCS, it unfortunately never got to get played out. So, Dayshi in a great spot. I don't know how Lilbow is going to handle this, but as good of a player as Lilbow is, it's really going to take everything, I feel. Like, his best games ever to take Dayshi down.
We'll see, we'll see. I'm always a fan of looking at, like, the first half of a game, I guess you could say. Or just the first game, really, before I make any decisions. Because I really don't know, I guess, as much as you do. I saw a couple of Dayshi games versus Protoss, and I was just like... I was admittedly pretty blown away about how he handled things, because it was just in like really like tough situations where any other foreigner Terran, you know, would mess up the control, and he played like a Korean Terran, so I don't know. But Lilbow is just that like guy that's like, well, do we know a lot about him? Is he like totally on form today? Is he gonna show us what's up? Is he gonna like wreck Dayshi, even though Dayshi's playing a magnificent game? We'll see in this first game, first series.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing, like, you know, because we cast so much, and I collectively cast even when you're not around type thing, I've got a good feel for these players, but that doesn't mean I can tell you the outcome. Like, I'm gonna be able to give you a good gist of who will come out ahead, but I'll never accurately be able to call, like, 2-1, 3-2, like you can, Miss Zombie Grub at IEM.
Yeah, but I miscalled GSL, my powers didn't work. They don't work in not real life,
Well, you can't fight against curses, let's be honest.
That's true.
There's no beating a curse.
I guess that's what it is. They can't beat the Artosis curse.
Everyone make sure you tweet at Scion. Blame Scion for Flash.
Please. I try though. Alright, so we're gonna have a Widowmine drop. You know, I keep going automatically to Widowmine drop, but so much more often it's just the Marine drop with the Hellions too. We're gonna have some type of drop from Dayshi with this factory. Oh, whoa. Whoa, what is this?
Okay, the extra Raxus coming down. That's caught me a little bit off guard too. 3 Raxus and the Hellions. This is odd, I would say, but I'm trying to remember. Bunny did something similar to this a little while ago, if you remember. It was like one of the first times we saw Bunny before he really broke out and became like the crazy foreigner that everyone's like, wow, beat Hyun, WTF. Man, I'm so glad, by the way, we have First Blood programmed in. I would never have caught that. Especially looking at Dayshi's face. But, oh, it is a Widowmine. Okay, I thought this was going to be Hellions. So I take everything I was getting towards back.
Interesting. This is going to be like a straight up... It's going to be a straight up push with a lot of units and Widowmines as well.
I guess the hope is to get up that ramp before Force Field goes down. You know, because Photon Overcharge is the natural. It's going to be baited for sure. Especially with this volume of Marines. The Widowmine is going to be a big threat to Stalkers and Zealots, so they can't actually fight. If Dayshi catches Lilbow without a sentry, he walks up that ramp and away from that overcharge, and there's only energy for one.
Yeah, I think that's the plan. I think you called it. It's certainly going to be interesting to see. I mean, we cast a lot of games, and these pro gamers are always like talking to each other and learning new builds on the ladder that, you know, we unfortunately just don't see until this very moment. But it's always so fun to see that, you know, like we're totally ready to be like, okay, here's what's gonna happen with the Hellion drop. He's gonna go into the Hellions, and the Marines are gonna drop. But now we're just kind of like, okay, we're gonna watch it unfold with you. Is it gonna wait for medevacs? You're just gonna push.
See, that's the thing. Like the medevacs are so late compared to what you would expect.
it's like the production, because usually what you see is either like a 1 racks and 2 more racks, 1 racks and 1 more racks, and then a factory, or 1 racks factory starport and then later on 2 racks. So like he's getting to a composition and like a structure composition, is that a thing that we're used to seeing, 3 racks, a factory, and a starport, just a little, like, you know, in a different way. He gets a couple of wood mines first. It's odd. It doesn't seem to be actually doing anything with it. It's going to be a normal game. He's going to wait for medevacs and then push out then.
Yeah, all right. I guess, you know, it's weird to consider, but this could have just been defensive. I mean, it's the 2 racks has come down.
Oh, you know what?
That's
true. I totally forgot. But back in like the beginning of Heart of the Swarm, when people just really like oracles are very, very scary. They still are. Am I right? That used to be actually the build to go to in PvT, was to go for the 1 racks reactor and then the factory. And then get Widow Mines. And then later on, you would go ahead and get like a starport and go for the Widow Mine drop. But yeah, it's just like a really old build, I guess. Not so much like a new fancy one.
Yeah. I just want to clarify something here, because I don't want this running wild or turning into a rumor. I am not at all passive-aggressive, salty about Zymergup not casting as much as I do. She has a life, I don't. It's... I don't know why people took that out of what I said, but I just want to clarify, there is nothing there, like...
can we, okay, yeah, that's true and all, but can we talk about how many observers there are in the field for Lilbow?
Yeah, I just noticed that too, coming across the map, up to 4 already. Dayshi,
and they're all, like, in a line, too. Like, I don't actually know how helpful that is.
Well, actually, he sees everything coming, so we'll see.
Well, yeah, but, like, I mean, you should usually have one, like, detecting drops. I don't know.
Right, but I mean, the Colossus is still out. It's not like this delayed his production. I mean, maybe it's the difference
true.
of 1 versus 2. It's just, it's odd to see this many this early. I agree.
Yeah. He's gonna have 1 at the 3rd, 1 at, of course, the middle of the map, and hopefully 1 well over to the side to catch drops like these.
Well, he did see that one dip over.
Yeah, he did.
Thanks to that observer. Here's the thing, like, if those medevacs are actually fully unloaded, they kill what Lilbow has, but not if they unload on top of this. Man, Dayshi, by the way, too, like, he's the guy I would expect to be scanning and catching all these observers and not getting much done here. More racks is coming down. His tech is on the way, of course, and a bit of an odd second engineering babe. Not a big deal. Just weird to see them separated.
Yeah, well, there's no space back there, right? So, the 3rd is obviously, well, actually no, that observer keeps moving. The 3rd was not detected. I thought that observer was gonna stay over the 3rd and stay there, but doesn't look like Dayshi's getting an on location 3rd. Big drop goes down in the main. Oh, if the stop weren't there, this forge is gonna be so tasty.
When that goes down, that's actually a big snipe there. Nice blink forward here out of Lilbow. Revealing blink 2 at the same time, although I think it's kind of to be expected from what Dayshi's seen. I would have loved to have seen him move into the natural while this was going on, but of course the overcharge was popped already, and of course you've got 2 Colossus there. So I mean, Dayshi not getting a lot of damage done there, just 1 mine.
Yeah. It's so hard to do any damage really when a Protoss is still on 2 base. It's really when they get this 3rd Nexus that at the very least you get a cancel or a kill on the 3rd. Without that, that's just it's pretty easy for Lilbow to defend. Dayshi though really getting that nice high Viking count. Lilbow getting double forge. Like Dayshi did see that, so he's gonna be wary. You know, he's gonna be aware that charge and High Templars are gonna be a little later. You know, people can get really fast High Templar charge after Colossus. Lilbow goes for the upgrades, which we've been seeing a lot more lately. I mean, all of like whatever the last round we cast, totally forgot. We just saw double forge. Oh, the Oleum League finals.
Oh, Journey vs. Yanghua, yeah.
Yeah, Yanghua always went for double forge, but yeah, go ahead.
So I was clapping because Sion from Blizzard just responded. I guess Rifkin was right. Openly taunting the universe isn't a good idea. I'll have to remember that in the future. Sorry, Flash. Hashtag cursed.
At least he acknowledges it.
No, it's always fun. I like that. Sion's gotta be my favorite community manager because he or she actually interacts on Reddit, on Twitter. Like, they're actually part of the community. But nice listening here to Dayshi. Might catch a couple of these probes. We'll catch 2 or so, but I got to make a lot of work happen with such a small amount of Marines. Hoping to segment off to the left, but scans ahead and with 1 Marine sacrifice recognizes like, that's a lot of units to deal with.
I wonder if Dayshi will be going for a SED pull here. He has a lot of Vikings. He's gonna have 2-1-1, and the storm is not gonna be here. And there's actually, you know, surprisingly, not even that many Colossus. 3. You know, maybe if he Chrono boosted entirely on the Robo, there could have been like 5 even. But I'm wondering. I'm gonna be looking for that. Oh no, he's the 4th command center. Never mind, he's not gonna do it.
Why are we offline in Team Liquid? WTF. This has been happening a lot lately, actually.
I don't know.
That was relisted now. Alright, fixed. Thank you for the person who notified me about that. But Dayshi's Vikings are kind of interesting. These are great right now, but as we see, Lilbow's not producing more Colossus. Like, sitting on 4 and moving towards Templar tech, knowing that Storm's where he needs to be. What I really like, and we've talked about this a lot very specifically recently, Immortals. Oh god, there's never been enough Immortals in Protoss compositions. But cutting the Colossus early, getting these while he moves on towards Templar tech, I really like that choice a lot.
When we're going into an old-fashioned like macro PVT, I thought for sure that Dayshi was going to consider pulling the SCVs, but he ended up 4th command center very early. It doesn't seem like, I think Dayshi is one of those guys that like I'm so impressed with just because he seems to be okay with going to the late game. A lot of Terrans, you can tell that they're nervous. You know, the SCV pool, they overcommit to a Doom drop. They don't want to get into that 25-minute game where they just seem to, you know, suddenly pros gets Tempest too. It's just, it's unnerving, but Dayshi completely fine with it. Guesses Ghosts, getting Blue Flame too, as well as Hellbats. Interesting choice.
Might give him a bit of an edge when it comes to, like, well, I don't even know, to be honest. I was going to say buffering against the Zealots, but Woodamines are just better for that all around.
Yeah, and they don't, I feel like, you know, Woodamines and PVT
you know
or
what?
TP.
You know what, though? There's one thing Hellbats can do better than the Woodamines. That's actually soak the hits from the Colossus.
That's true. That's true. I was gonna say in TVP, the randomness of Woodamines don't seem to really have that much of an effect because you don't see Protoss really splitting.
Well, they're not fast units like Speedlings, you know, dodging out and barely missing a hit or something.
Yeah, exactly. It's also a case of like, I know we joked about like that Raven game, remember? And I was talking about how like it is so hard to control. It's just that extra like that extra tab putting in a Raven in your group. Same thing with Woodamines actually. Like, if you're gonna have Ghosts, Vikings, Bio, and Woodamines, actually clicking on the Woodamines and getting them to burrow, it's difficult. And if you just pre-burrow them, then the Colossus take them out, right? So, yeah, it's also just like Marauder Hellbat, just a very like, you know, buff composition, which is so, it's why it's so important that Lilbow did mix in a few Immortals.
Well, Dayshi's got a really nice looking army. Catches a good chunk of gateway units out. Yeah, out of position here, but the big thing is he's got a little watch out for these storms.
Yeah. Doesn't have that many ghosts, really. Could go ahead and snipe. Well, what's sniping? What are you doing?
Snipe? Yeah, a bit of an odd choice there, but Mothership Core goes down. The Colossus is going to fall. EMPs do go out. You know what? This army composition is not looking too bad versus what's on the ground. It was the Colossus that were so scary. 5 ghosts at a time behind this. Oh my goodness. Dayshi, please.
Dayshi. Yeah, man, if those ghosts had gotten the snipes that they honestly should have, he might have just been already like starting to win right here, but now that there are still a lot of High Templars. They're gonna have 1 storm each at least. Upgrades did finish for Lilbow. Okay, so he's on 3/3. Doesn't have to worry about them now unless he really wants to get shields.
You know, Dayshi's gold right now is looking mighty good.
Well, it's an orbital, and that just boggles my mind how Lilbow is not supposed to put a proxy pylon. Ugh.
But he's not forced out any.
Warning.
I mean, normally you see at least a planetary or 2 down, not because you're worried about proxy pylons, more like just like you don't want to have to segment your army home to defend. But I guess the logic is if you're applying so much pressure that Lilbow's not going to war presently, doesn't have proxy pylons, then you don't actually have to worry about it.
Those multiple observers, by the way, now really helping against the cloaked ghosts. Doesn't have to worry about losing them.
Yeah, it's a bit funny because we were making fun of this, but it's actually a really good move. Big drops going off here. The main cannons here to defend, but cannons won't stop this.
Those guys are storm.
Oh my god, this was all Marauders. Jesus, I didn't even realize there's no Marines in this drop. This is like the definition of like a Nexus snipe drop. Storm's doing what they can. He's going to pick off the Robo. Oh my god, this many Marauders is insane to watch. Oh, they're going to go down here though.
There was 3 cannons, there were 2 storms. If there was only feedbacks, those probably do a lot of damage, but since there were storms, it just wasn't worth it. But luckily Dayshi is on 5 bases, he has so many orbitals, he has a really good composition. That actually wasn't too bad.
Well, you know, you gotta consider too, like, losing some Marauders at this point, kind of affordable. Like, you want more ghosts in your composition. The bonus damage versus Zealots is good, EMP is gonna be fantastic, Snipes obviously, whenever you can do.
Yeah, yeah. Now we're getting to like that point though where like Lilbow's on 4 bases, Dayshi's on 5. This isn't really a balance wine, but Protoss is actually the ones that kind of have that next step where really for Terran it's all about getting like the rest of your upgrades, you know, like the kind of useless engineering bay upgrades, the upgrades for your Vikings. There's no like there's not really a mass Raven composition like we have in TVZ. Whereas Lilbow can actually transition into Tempest, for instance, and try and do something there. Dayshi's gonna have to stick on Marine, Marauder, Ghost, Viking. Adding in nukes is always a cool way to try and mix things up. They never really see them work.
I don't know. Journey versus Grubby is like the only time I've ever seen a nuke actually land in the last like year of StarCraft 2. But they are good zoning mechanisms. They are basically the biggest force field because there's no army that's walking into that blinking red dot.
Dayshi, oh, you made me pay attention, pay attention.
Nice snipe.
I thought I was gonna mass EMP like all the stuff in the middle, but he just went for the snipe. Okay.
So to explain this too, this is such a subtle dynamic, but one that people need to fully understand. If you can ever snipe off a Templar, way better than an EMP. Even if there's like 50 Templar there, maybe the EMP is the only time that's going to be better. But because if you EMP, they're just going to turn into Archons, and you have to EMP again. And you usually don't have that much energy on these Ghosts. But those EMPs have been fantastic so far. Nuke is going to come down.
Well, this is an odd decision. Usually that's like a barrier nuke, but he actually runs into
right?
it.
Like I thought? Okay, cancel it. There we go. I was going to say, yeah, if I would like say nuke the natural and then push into the third type thing.
Yeah, exactly. Or like that gold base Lilbow's trying to get. Lilbow's doing so well with like his units positioning. He has like observers everywhere. He has like you know, Zealots and High Templars ready for those backstab storms.
Bad storm to start this.
Still has, I think he still has a lot ready. Seven High Templars on the field, all coming in bit by bit.
Oh my god, but coming from the right side, sandwiching this in. Too much AoE, too many Zealots charged to the front line. It is worth noting something cool that Lilbow has done. He's not actually been producing a lot of Colossus behind us, but Dayshi's still been producing a lot of Vikings in anticipation of those Colossus. So that's kind of a bit of a reasoning on why this ground force was so lackluster. But it's, again, these Hellbats are what I find so weird. 5 at a time.
I mean, I think they've been adding a lot, actually. Like, that fight only went south because of, again, I talked about Lilbow's positioning, and it kind of came to fruition right there, where he got a full surround and a couple, like, backstabs, Zealots, backstab, High Templar, Storms. And that's really important, because if you're all clumped up as a Protoss player, that's when, like, 12 Ghosts seem unbeatable, because you're clumped up, and they're going to EMP your entire army. If you're spread out, if you have emergency High Templars back at your third, ready for those emergency Storms, you're actually going to last really long in a game.
Yeah, I mean, this is, it's cool to see because it's weird to call it unorthodox, but it's working. I would, however, like to see a couple Widow Mines mixed in, I gotta be honest. With the Zealot count as high as it is, Blue Flame is good, but Widow Mines are kind of better, I feel.
I would have loved to see DTs by now. Lilbow has 5k, like,
yeah, has he made
1500k.
No
Dark
War
Shrine
Prism yet?
Yeah, no War Prism, like, no harass whatsoever. And the fact that Dayshi got an orbital on the gold is just mind-boggling in a TVP.
Yeah, this is not something that should have ever happened so comfortably. And I mean, it's one thing to have the gold, it's another to have the orbital there.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, there's a nuke coming down somewhere. Where is this nuke happening, though? There we go. Here at the. Oh, does he not see this? Lilbow?
He lost all those observers, and Dayshi was very well aware of it.
Yeah, but you still see the blinking red dot, right?
So no, yeah. Not the nuke. Those are the ghosts. They're so close.
Probes are pulled though, because I guess he didn't know where that was going to come down, so they're not mining the gold right now. This is actually going to not affect Lilbow the slightest. He's got like a 5k bank behind this. Let's see if Dayshi can break it though. He's going to have to beat the War Princess to follow up. Storms going down everywhere. Oh my god. Even with the spread at the bottom of the ramp here, he's got to disengage. Dayshi doesn't have a massive bank like his opponent does.
No, he doesn't.
God, these Blue Flame Hellbats, man. I'm so torn about this. Like, they're tanking well, but the Widow Mines I just feel would do so much more damage. If there was no Zealots to worry about, he pushes through with the Marauders without question.
Plus, there's always a chance that Widow Mines get, like, you know, cheap shots at not only the Zealots, but, like, the High Templars and the Stalkers as they run past and their AI messes up. Yeah, I completely agree right there. It's also, like, just really important that Lilbow, like, he has, like, a really big gateway, like, count, actually. And I think it's what's really letting him survive.
Hits the Immortals, no more Heart and Shield.
He also just has a bunch of storms. Like, he's never run out of storms. There's never been a scenario where, like, oh my god, he has no storms.
This is actually going to suck a little bit. Dayshi's finally lightened up on the Viking production, but this is exactly when Lilbow starts making 3 more Colossus at a time. I mean, this is that sort of tech swap you're always a little bit scared of in TVP. But at the same time, Dayshi, I can't believe, by the way, how well he's spending his minerals, but how badly he's coming out of these fights, because on 6 bases, he's got no bank.
It comes down to those storms again. Like, the Colossus haven't really played a huge part, but Lilbow's consistently had like 5 storms.
Like, what I would say is like
down.
EMP, or not EMP, nuke down here, or nuke, yeah, or exactly down there, and then push in. But the observers can come in the front line. You will see the ghost.
Oh, what's gonna happen?
Got a little bit close, not close enough though. Marauders are not going to pick this up. You know, Dayshi, I hate to say it like this, but like he really embraces inner Colt. Like I feel like if he was doing like base snipes instead of like head-on engagements, this could be going much better for him.
He still takes surprisingly good trades. I mean, that was like a 270 surround for Lilbow, and he actually comes out on even supply. That's actually pretty surprising. Picks up a lot of the units, but now they're going down. The Planetary is going to be his savior.
Three observers at a time coming up behind us. The lack of protection has been a bit of a problem up to this stage of the game, but Dayshi, he just doesn't have use to fight with. I think it's the bottom line here. EMP goes off out of desperation. Planetary Fortress is going to get combinations stormed and assaulted, forcing the fight here. Oh, there's too many storms. Oh my god, there's so many freaking storms.
Yeah, and finally now we see Dayshi dipping very low in supply.
The hell is I'm so... I know this works, and I've seen it work before. I just didn't like it this game.
I think Lilbow was very intelligent in how he dealt with it too. Like he was never very charge lot heavy. He was actually more like Blink Stalker heavy, despite not ever really like relying on the Colossus. He had a bunch of Colossus for sure, but it wasn't like he was like, please help me, Colossus, savior. It was like just, you know, Mortals mix in, lots of storms, and a good gateway count. Actually did surprisingly well.
Well, this base sadly is going to go down by the looks of it. There's also doing like sitting around. This is looking so much for Dayshi. I gotta tell you, I never expected the game to go not just like this much in Lilbow's favor towards the end, because there's been a lot of back and forth leading up to it, but Dayshi, it's one of those things where like you expect this guy, you know, at the end of his life to go with like the craziest fight ever, not to die in a hospital bed type thing, right? Yeah. And right now, I mean, he's starving out slowly, and
it's something to note, right? That the Hellbound Marauder competition was actually very popular versus Protoss back when they came with a like high. You didn't have to get the blue flame for them. It was actually very popular because it was still kind of mobile, and also just very, very beefy and strong. But it really did die off after the mid game. Like you had a very strong mid game with Hellbound Marauder back in the day, but it did die off eventually when there came to be mass storms. Is actually what kind of countered it, but. So it is surprising that Dayshi was so stubborn about continuing the Hellbats.
Well, you know, one of the things too is like we're seeing a lot of ghosts this game. Like how many have died so far? 35 ghosts have died this game. Like you gotta consider, guys. That's like, well, the ghosts are what 200, 100, I think. Yeah, I'm horrible at remembering these things, but the point is they're very freaking expensive. DT's finally on the way, but I mean this is why Dayshi can't max. You know that those 35 ghosts could have easily been like 100+ Marines, right? It's all about how you use it. But oh, CC's gonna go down. This is not good.
It's just that the ghosts, despite the number of ghosts, never got like that like blanket EMP. Oh my god, like they never got that one. Storms are always available. Okay, messed up the storms on that one for some whatever reason.
The Viking count's not even large enough to really affect this though. I mean,
this is a really great fight. Like what? But it's not gonna be enough.
Yeah, I mean the thing is like they take out the Colossus, but then what are they gonna do? Land? There's just not enough remaining. This Archon, I feel rather than retreating, could have killed a couple more.
Good that went though. Like 120 supply for Lilbow. We had like a
yeah, but I mean, look at this warp in, right? Like,
yeah, no, you're not competing with that. The 5K bang.
Let's not forget, DTs have not been used yet this game. They're about to be for the first time. And Dayshi actually, because he's lost so many orbitals, can't massive scan. If he just dropped a ton of mules too. Oh, that's the worst feeling, man. Where like you drop like 17 mules, you're like, yeah, economy, and then there's like one DT comes in, you're like, oh fuck me.
The Lilbow's gonna win with most of the Gateway army, it seems like. Like forget anything else. Stalkers and Zealots.
Yeah,
3 Colossus for join though. 3 Colossus production is insane.
I mean, it's really hard to criticize someone like Dayshi. He's such a good player, but I mean, the Hellbats are the weirdest choice this game for me personally. And Lilbow adjusted everything here as he put up pretty well. So, I mean, this is hardly a cheap win. I'm not gonna. I'm usually the first one to be like, "Wow, he got Protoss," right? But GG, well played, absolutely. Lilbow will take game number 1, very well deserved.
Yeah, that was like the opposite of being Protoss. Lilbow was like very intelligent. No freebie fights.